What is going on, everyone? Today I am making my predictions for every NFL team for their 2022 to 2023 NFL season. As some of you may know, I'm a big Vikings fan, but I try to remain as unbiased as possible and realistic as possible. I do have high hopes for the Vikings and the new coaching staff that they brought in and new leadership, but they do have a tendency to let me down, so we'll have to kind of wait and see if they are going to let me down this year. I'm really hoping not, and I hope they have an excellent season. It'll be interesting to see how the division plays out. But if you're curious, be sure to check out the video and see all of my predictions, see what I think your team's going to do this year. And at the end of the season, we'll come back and revisit it and see how good my predictions were if I remember to do that. Be sure to like and subscribe. Keep your head high, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next one. Now we're going to go to this nonsense. For anyone out there who doesn't know, I am a Vikings fan. Unfortunately, I live in Packers territory, so that's kind of unfortunate. But I am here to make some predictions. Cardinals. They had Murray injured for a few games last season, but they were really good. I feel like, so just to be clear, this is the number of wins that I think they're gonna get, and we'll put them in each bracket. 17 games. I don't think there'll be 15. I think 12 to 14 or more 10 to 11. I don't really know what their schedule looks like, but I see them in a 12 to 14, maybe 10 to 11, depending on the difficulty of their schedule. Falcons, I don't really know anything about, to be honest. I don't even know who their quarterback is. I don't feel like they should be very good. Well, this does not want me to move it, but we'll say 6 seems like a pretty safe bet. The Ravens. I love Lamar Jackson. I think their division is kind of tough now with the Bengals. I think who else is in their division. Anyone difficult? Maybe not. So maybe the only real threat in the division is the Bengals. I think this is probably around where they were last year, and that's kind of where I'd expect them to be again. The Bills are obviously really good, and I don't... If they're not 15, they're like 14 if they're not 15 or more. Like if they're either on the high end of the 12 to 14 or they're 15 or more. There's no way that they, unless they have like an injury or something, then I don't see them not being really good. The Panthers. They have, it's Sam Darnold, right? Is that right? Now I have to double check. Panthers QB. Oh, they got Baker Mayfield. Interesting. They do have Sam Darnold, too. I don't know how to feel about Baker Mayfield. I feel like he obviously helped the Browns quite a bit. They went from a losing team to actually getting some wins, and they almost made the playoffs. I feel like they'll probably be in the 7 to 9 category. We're gonna save all the division people for the end, so we'll save the Bears. The Bengals. I mean that. I know they were in the Super Bowl, but for some reason I still just want to say that they'll be in the 12 to 14 range. And no, second year, yeah, 15 or more. You gotta do it. Browns. I don't think anything goes well for the Browns this year. I don't remember who the Browns have as a quarterback. Deshaun Watson, but he's suspended for the first, I think it was 6 weeks, maybe it was 7 weeks. I don't see them having a super great year. Oh, the Cowboys. I feel like they kind of fall into that 10 to 11 category. They probably make the playoffs, but if not, they'll be like right on the border. I don't think they're 12 to 14 or 15 or more, though. I just don't think there's any way for them. Broncos with what's his name? Wilson. I can see them being in kind of that same area. Maybe 7 to 9 for the first year, but Broncos have been in kind of a weird spot recently. I don't know. I feel like Russell Wilson, though, is good enough to make a pretty significant impact, so like 10 to 11. Yeah, we're going to skip the Lions and Packers. The Texans. I don't really know anything about the Texans either. Oh. They really just got nothing going on. Yeah, 4 to 6 is probably right. Maybe 3 or less, honestly. I really don't know anything about them. And when I looked up their quarterback, it looked like for good reason. So yeah, maybe 3 or less, maybe 4 to 6. We'll keep them in. Yeah, they'll get 4. They'll get to 4. I'm confident. Colts. Do they have Matt Ryan? Is that who they got? Yeah. They're probably in that 7 to 9 range. Matt Ryan's good, but I don't know if he's good enough to get them into this tier. Jaguars, I think that's a pretty safe 4 to 6. Are they going to be any better this year? I feel like the answer is no. No, I don't think so. Chiefs. I'd honestly put them below the Bills and the Bengals, I think. People are starting to figure them out a little bit. They've been good for a while. I think teams are starting to figure them out a little bit more. Not that 12 to 14 is bad, but, that's just kind of where I see them. Herbert and the Chargers. We're going to put them, oh my goodness, there we go. 10 to 11. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's the spot. They've got a good quarterback. Herbert, I think, is what it is, right? Saying that right? But I don't know about the rest of their team. I don't really know about the defense. I feel like 10 to 11 is probably where they end up. Rams 12 to 14. I have more faith in the Bengals than I do the Rams, even though the Rams beat the Bengals. Like, that was a good game, obviously. I think it really could have gone either way, so I feel like overall, it's like if I were to pick a team, I think I'd pick the Bengals to win more often than not, so I don't think the Rams will be 15 or more. Stafford might get, like, injuries and stuff, too, so, yeah. Raiders with Derek Carr and Davante Adams. What was their record last year? They probably had, 7 to 9 wins last year? Oh, they had 10 wins. I don't really see that changing. I don't think adding Davante is going to push them up, but I also don't see them being any worse. 10 to 11. Okay, now we got to think about this a little bit, though. They're in the division with the Chiefs and the Broncos. I think the question is, do I like Carr and Davante Adams more than I like Russell Wilson? Maybe these two are flipped. Maybe I think that's probably a little better. I think I have more faith in Derek Carr and Devontae Adams than I do Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Yeah, I think I like that more. Dolphins. Tua. Tyreek Hill. Honestly, maybe even that bold. I don't know what their defense is really like. I'm going to say 10 to 11. I think 10 to 11. Patriots. Yeah. I don't know about I just can't picture them with these other teams up here. I just can't. That's where they go. I think the Saints probably fall into that same category. Who'd the Saints end up with as a quarterback? I don't. Saints QB. Winston. Yeah, 7 to 9. 7 to 9. No. Giants. I'm sorry. Jets. I mean, basic. The Eagles. They're gonna be a little better. I think they're 10 to 11, or is that more of a 7 to 9? I think the Vikings play them like week 2 or week 3. I think I'm gonna leave them in the 7 and 9. I think that's where the Steelers are gonna go to. They have Trubisky. Yeah, 4 to 6. 4 to 6 for that one. Seahawks, maybe in the 4 to 6. I don't know. Seahawks QB. Who they? Drew Lock. Yeah. Yeah, I think 4 to 6 is probably safe there. I don't feel like the 49ers should be good, but somehow they always end up in the playoffs. So I don't see why, but I think they'll be in the 10 to 11. Don't understand it, but that seems to always be the case. Buccaneers and Tom Brady, they'll be in the 12 to 14, I'm sure. Titans, I also feel like probably fall into that category. Derrick Henry, as long as he can stay healthy. If Henry's not healthy, then it's probably more like that. But and then they probably fall into the 7 to 9 category. Now the division. We're gonna start with the Lions. I think they're gonna be a lot better than people are giving them credit for. I really believe they're gonna be in the 7 and 9 category. I think a lot of people think they'd be worse than that, but they lost some really close games last year. They started to look like a team by the end of the season. I think 7 and 9 is probably pretty safe bet for them. I think the Bears probably fall into that category as well. I can maybe see them being in the 4 to 6. Second year QB now, though. Yeah, I think 7 to 9 is probably pretty accurate. I don't think either team makes the playoffs, but now the big question: the Packers. Ugh. I mean, they don't have anyone to throw to, but their running game is still really good, and I think their defense is pretty scary. They probably end up 12 to 14, 10 to 11. I think 10 to 11. I think, honestly, I'm thinking more like 11 or 12. So I think either 11 or like low end of this one. It's just going to be a big question of if Aaron Rodgers can like throw to anybody. And then, last but not least, the Vikings. I think this is probably where they end up, and I think the factor for who wins the division will really depend on if the Packers end up in that 12 range or if they end up in the 10 to 11 range. And honestly, I could see even something like this happening. It's kind of scary to say. I mean, obviously, first year with the new head coach. I'm so optimistic for their offense. I'd really love for our offense to just jump out of the gun and kick ass and be way better than people are anticipating. I mean, the tools are there. It's just a matter of getting the right game plan and getting everything to click for them. And then a big question for us, I feel like, too, is how good is our defense going to be? The defense has been struggling for a long time, so really I could see the Vikings being in any of these three categories, and it just really depends on how the defense goes and how the O'Connell offense works. So really, I could see either that happening, or that happening, or those four options. The Bears are there no matter what. I think the Lions could end up being kind of sneaky, but ultimately, I think this is probably how I would do it. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. And I think this could very well be that kind of scenario too. But we'll leave them up there. I think they get 12. Do I? Yeah. Do I? Yeah. That's that. That's my prediction. Feel pretty good about that.